Justin Evans, we get a lot of first team reps yesterday. When we look at that safety spot opposite Reed, how do you evaluate him at this point?
I think he's right in the thick of it, with Terrell and Kayvon and Sidney. Like there's a really good battle going on at safety right now that, like I told you guys last week, like we just keep trying to roll combinations. And so that was the function of that, is we're trying to keep getting different combinations of people together, get them communicating with different people, and then try to find what we think eventually is going to be our best matchup to fit that.
How much is that sort of the pre-plan of rolling guys versus maybe somebody played well during the preseason game or practice? How much is that?
I think it's a combination, but we've kind of stuck to our plan the whole way through, even before we were in games. And we don't anticipate changing from the plan because there's so many variables that happen in a game that, we use our practices and our joint practices to really evaluate our guys. And so we kind of keep that rotation going. We try to do a great job of communicating with those guys, and they embrace it.
Sean, what is that?
Usage? Are you ideally want like just two safeties? Obviously, you'll have things back. Or are you open to kind of like a situation where you shuffle in maybe the two spot, shuffling in the other, depending upon?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing for us is we're always going to be open-minded to trying to find the best matchups for our guys. And that will not change as we go throughout the whole season, because that's really what this thing is about trying to put our best players in positions to make plays against their best players and try to win as many plays as we can in a game. And eventually the outcome will be what the outcome will be. So we're kind of always preaching that and always preaching the versatility and the adaptability of our scheme and our players to their traits. And so that accounts for how we roll those guys.
Reed's in a position where he's playing with all these different guys on different days, different situations. How's he handled that? What does that do for him? And how does it help him if it does?
Yeah, I think he's handled it great. And we've been communicating with him as well of that plan to kind of rotate guys. And what it does is it helps him build continuity and rapport with all the guys. Because at the end of the day, right, we obviously want all 11 of these guys, whoever the 11 that we are, march out, and there's more than 11 that become your starters with your different packages, but you want them to all stay healthy throughout the whole season, right? And the nature of the game is sometimes that doesn't happen. So you got to be able to have that rapport with those guys and build that trust over time. And this is the time to do it where you can keep practicing that.
What is different with Jones Carter Leslie compared to?
I just think he keeps he's growing and taking steady incremental steps to keep growing and developing as a player and as a person. And Coach Rocker is doing a tremendous job developing that way, and we're continuing to stay on him with the details, and he knows that he's got to keep refining those. And so I think he's taking ownership of that, and he's growing.
With Zach done for the season now, what have you seen from some of the other backup slot corners?
Yeah, that's obviously you never want to lose a guy that has been impactful for us like Zach has. But I think it just, when things happen, there's opportunities that come out of that, and so these other guys need to step up and they need to take ownership of those roles. And we've been doing a good job in that same position group to keep rolling guys and getting different guys, different looks and matchups there to help us evaluate and help them get that experience. So I think that will continue to go that way.
What was the reason for getting Mays drafts in slot last year?
Oh, it's the same thing. Like I think you guys asked that last week too. It's the same thing. We're just trying to find different matchups and different roles, and what it's about getting the best 11 on the field in different ways. And so, why not? Like we had some rep management things that we were doing with some guys, and he was not on that list. And why not test him out in there and put him in some situations?
When you have veterans added midstream like Zach and Miles and linebacker, how do you balance like what you've seen here versus what they've done tape?
I think you're always aware of the history of all of our guys and what they've done on tape, because they've earned some stripes on the wall in this league and being productive. But this is a league that's built on what are you doing for me now, and that's the biggest thing is, and those guys know that they got to prepare and be in the moment now, and they've done a tremendous job that they're not relying on their past to have really expectations. You rely on your past history to make you better as a football player now, and they're doing that.
What did you?
As a coordinator, if the linebacker has some length like he does, you saw him get his hand on the ball against Sean. Is that something you can use? Do you look at a guy out and say, well, he's long, I can do some different things?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, we look at all that stuff. That's right, for sure. I mean, you don't want me playing linebacker with my height. You know, I can't get my hand on those balls. So that's right. You know, all those traits are going to be part of the evaluation. But the biggest thing is he was in the right spot to be able to do that. Right? So that means he's learning the defense and he's growing to be able to do that. And then the next step for him is going to be to go get the picks and not get the takeaways, right? So we keep growing in the process. And that's for all those guys. You know, all those guys are getting on their hands on balls in different spots because they're doing what's asked of them within the defense, and they're really focusing on their techniques.
What did you make of Nolan's game on Thursday? And with a player like him, you have to really make sure he doesn't put himself in danger by staying in a game when he might be hurt.
Nolan, you said? Oh, yeah. You know, like a lot of these young guys, he keeps getting better. You know, he's developing. He's really trying to work on his craft. Coach Washburn's doing a tremendous job of focusing him in on the things that he needs to focus on. And, you know, he plays with a relentless mindset and a relentless attitude. And like I said before, we don't ever want to take these innate qualities out of these guys. You know, we want to nurture them and help them grow and let them be themselves and then fit them into the scheme that we're trying to do.
How long
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure if it's an advantage. You know, I don't know. That's probably a question for the opponent that's scouting us and scouting me. Like from my end, obviously you build on the experiences that you've had, and you try to build a defense, and you got to not recreate, but really, yeah, I guess recreate's the word, or redefine and reestablish your identity as a defense every year. You know, and I've learned that through some of the great coaches I've worked for, and that's a big message from Coach Sirianni, is that we got to reestablish our identity as a team this year. And so that's what you got to take real ownership in doing.
As you sort of tweak things, you know, what you have on the paper versus how it looks on the field, and trying to figure out what players want. Who are the guys on defense who are most allowing you to sort of tweak things?
You know, that's a great question, because one thing that we've tried to do from the beginning is really try to emphasize to all of our players, including my coaches, but really the players, is I want all of them to be vocal. I want all their input. I need to know where their brains are. I want to know what they're feeling. I want to know what they're seeing on the field. And if there's any gray, to try to eliminate as much gray as we can and provide clarity for these guys through their techniques. So we really try to keep an open environment for those guys to talk in the meeting rooms. Obviously, when we're running a unit meeting for all those guys to talk, we have these skull sessions, you know, periodically throughout training camp, where we just keep it in open form and let those guys kind of fire shots off at me and ask me different questions about the scheme or what they're thinking and what they're feeling, because it's really important that we stay connected that way, and then the coaches create that environment for them in their rooms, because that's what good teachers do, you know, and that's what we're in this business for, is to teach these guys and develop them. What do you mean, as opposed to?
you watch film, you see a lot of players.
Oh yeah, we grade the. It's not like a fair or mistake-driven organization, and that's not the philosophy. We're a teacher-driven organization, so we're going to teach on every single play, and we'll teach all 11 on every single play of what every person did great and what they can improve on, and we try to relate that learning to the other guys that are not in on that play, because there's limited reps, right? So if I'm the backup corner, I better be listening to the points that we're giving the corners on both those sides on that coaching point, because that's my mental rep. And then that's a process of development. So, yeah, we try to teach all 11 and be really detailed with our teaching of our techniques and fundamentals and hold everybody to a certain standard.
A couple more. Mentioning that during the game you were giving him some extra stuff besides just the play call. How do you know, like, the balance there to not overload him, but, like, give him?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's an ongoing process, and that's something I pretty much communicate to all the backers every week and every day about what they like. And in my experience, there's different players that like different things. And so it's my job to meet them to what they like. Obviously, the most important thing is getting them the play call. And then from there, if guys like different information, then we'll try to provide it when we have it.
What have you learned about Kobe and what he likes?
You know, I'll let him answer that for you, but from my experience so far, I think he likes certain bits of information, you know, and it helps that we keep building that relationship where, and we're not really in a full game plan mode yet, where they'll know exactly why I'm doing certain things in certain situations, but he likes to know that because he likes to know the why behind, hey, coach is calling this for this reason. So he knows when he can go take his shots. And really, that's what we try to do with all of our players. And when we get into game plan mode, we'll do that at a higher level, is letting our players know why we're doing certain things in certain situations, so they know that they can go activate and trigger and make some plays that they need to be making.
Sean, what you know about people like this before you got to it? And when was the first time when it kind of clicked to you that he like
Yeah, I mean, prior to my time here, I didn't know much about him, because I didn't study the Eagles defense, in years past, besides just watching some tape of crossover things and different schemes, situational things that I really liked. And then after getting the job and everything, I obviously evaluated everybody, and I'm really impressed with his approach to the game, and really his ability to come in last year and be a strong contributor to a really strong defense at such a young age. And then in my time with him, I mean, he's done a tremendous job of keeping that approach, staying humble and really trying to grow as a player in every aspect of his game. And when you got guys that have that mindset, man, it's such a pleasure to coach them, because that's our job, is to keep developing them, keep teaching them.